Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Doc, and today we have a very nice stable build for all of you. I've sketched this out first before I built it actually. The cinematics are at the end, by the way, as usual with my videos. I no longer put them in the beginning. This is the sketch that I put out. You can pause the video if you want to look at the notes that I took there. It was just like a concept idea, and I think the concept idea is pretty close to what I ended up being able to build. Now, today on the agenda, we have a few things. First, we're going to talk about the pack. Conservation pack is absolutely gorgeous. If you are someone who's watching this video because you want to know how powerful the tools of building are, but you also want to know, cinematics of how the animals act, and you're not sure if you should get into the game yet, I would definitely say if you have thought about the game and not done anything yet to get into it, now is the time. Like, you can be 100% sure that there is a DLC you can find that you will enjoy. You don't have to have all of them. I have all of them, but that's because I make content for this channel. I know some players from the community, on Discord especially, that don't have all the packs, and they're pretty happy with it. And not to mention, DLCs are not super expensive. I would say, to be honest, that they're affordable DLCs. They are, I think, 10 euros, at least with the euro currency, they're affordable. Other than that, here I'm building some horse, what do you call these? Like doors and windows so that they can peek out. And these are two separate sections. Left and right side, I tried to make sure that they have enough space to house enough, like not enough, but a good big social group, a family, a herd of Przewalski's horses. Przewalski's horses? If I'm saying it wrong, please let me know how to say it. But the Przewalski horses, we're just going to call them horses. With the horses, I wanted to make sure that they have a space that they can go to, where they can cool down. And I have focused on both realism a lot, like real life realism, and game realism as well. Because with the game, you can see cool sections. So what I did was, I already know how the mud walls work. At least with the game, if you have not too many windows, and if you have a good shelter space that the game recognizes as shelter space, you're going to have it cooler than the rest of the habitat always. It's always going to be cooler in hot climates, and it's going to be hotter in cold climates, which is something that I tried to focus on, but I also wanted to focus on all the realism of real life barns in deserts. Here, I am using, yes, black frames for the windows, but that's just a stylistic choice that will do nothing, at least nothing good when it comes to heat, because heat will be attracted to anything dark. But honestly, looks wise, it looks pretty nice, and that's what I wanted to go for. Here I'm just trying out some roof supports type of stuff. And here's one thing with this game: you need to really make sure that everything fits well together, because there are some things that just don't work. Like, these were way too long, and so I went ahead and made my own. You're gonna see that in a second. Let's talk about the next thing on the agenda as you enjoy this build. Is this on Steam Workshop? Yes. If you just look to the description, I should put it either in the first paragraph or it's there. You can find this in the description. It's definitely there, and you can download it and rate it if you want to, if you so wish so. That really helps me. If I have feedback on my builds, I can always improve them. And this is just me making my own support, by the way, for the tops. Yes, and making it shorter, of course, is what I wanted to do, so I also did that, and I'm just going to extend it now so it looks a bit better. Now, as for the workshop item, it's completely done. There's, of course, some minor changes to it from how the video shows it. Also, with the cinematics, you're going to see those minor changes, like the difference between the cinematics and the end result of the speed build are a little different, only because I built this before we had the pack. That said, I couldn't test it out with Przewalski horses, and I honestly didn't also test the entire build out with zebra. If I did, I think I would have not had to make minor changes, but to be honest, I wanted the horses to enter the habitat first, so that's why I didn't test it. I also felt really tired after this build. I think I built this at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. or something. And one thing about this build is I try to make the interiors always a bit more different than the exteriors, so they feel more real. This is what I'm doing here. I'm adding some wooden paneling inside. Also, it's just this, an amazing staple of staple of horse stable design to have a lot of wooden parts inside. At least that's what I've seen on all my Pinterest inspiration searches. Also, that's what I do for my builds. Some of you asked me before and I didn't get to answer on my Instagram. Yeah, how do you get inspiration? Yada yada yada. What I recommend to everyone who just got this game and wants inspiration is get a pen and paper on paper and just draw out some houses, even if it's super simple. This is a very simple one, to be honest. I'm just adding detail to a square building. That's all I'm essentially doing. It's nothing super special. There are no curves. It's a square. It's a pretty square rectangular, maybe not square, yeah, rectangular shelter. And you can do this with big builds as well. And I'm just adding detail to it. And I think that's what everyone can do. Some creators do not disclose that. But to be very honest, a lot of realistic architecture has simple shapes, because more often than not, architects do not go the extra mile to make things difficult for the engineers or structural engineers who are going to have to work on that project that they're designing. With the zoo, of course, with the Planet Zoo, you can make about anything stand up. You can make a tower of plaster wall, like from the little things that I'm using at the moment. Those thin plaster walls, and just build it all the way up to like 6 kilometers. The game will accept it. But I am focusing on realism a lot with this, and what I thought was a horse stable or a shelter in a zoo will not be super interesting looking. So I'm just trying to make this look as interesting as I can. My main inspiration was some houses I've actually seen on Pinterest from the Sonora Desert in the US, as well as some houses that I've looked at in architectural magazines from Australia in the outback, because this this conservation park, is set in Australia. That is one of the main aspects of this entire set of builds that you'll be getting. I also have a build that is coming for the Siamang, and I have a build coming for the Oryx. And what else? Oh, and the leopard. The leopards have a really, really nice house. I don't think I've already made it in this video, so you will not see it in the background. I don't think so, because I'm not giving this to you in chronological order. I'm first giving you the Przewalski horse video, like the horse stable video, which is this one. Later on, you're going to see how I built like the staff center and the conservation center, which is the building you see at the background that looks like a desert house. That is a staff center, also going to be in the workshop with the next build. It has almost everything in it. You can use it for both the, what do you call it? You can use that staff center for, I think, both the franchise mode and the normal mode or challenge, because it has almost everything. I think the only thing it doesn't have is the workshop. It also has a research center, it should, and the utility center as well. So here I'm just adding my custom fencing, and you're also going to see me making a tiny door. You might have had a glimpse of the conservation center / entrance of the zoo, which this zoo is not exactly a zoo. I'm making more of a park, like a luxurious-ish conservation park, where you arrive with a helicopter. There are no roads. It's in the middle of the Australian desert, so I thought it would be more realistic if I just didn't put any roads. Maybe some dirt roads would work, but other than that, I didn't think roads were going to be a thing here. Here I'm just adding a separation. I've seen this in many horse stables. I don't know what exactly it's used for. I think it's to separate sometimes the stallion from the rest, but I'm really not sure. I'm not an expert on horse stable architecture, so I'm not an expert on any architecture. I actually just go on my Pinterest and get inspiration and try to build what I see. And here I will also be building a tiny door. Good news on the pack. We have actual tiny doors, so you don't have to do this, but if you want to make it inside the enclosure, then you might want to do this. Here, I'm making it inside because, first of all, again, when I was building this, we didn't have the pack yet, and I'm just editing it now. But other than that, I just thought it would be really realistic if we have, tiny doors all over this habitat, since the fences are already lower than the doors that we have. And can the horses jump over them? No, they can't. They do not jump over the fence. I've tested it. I have play tested it now. You're going to see it in the cinematics as well. There's no way for them to escape. And the habitat is actually large enough to house, at the moment, I should have like 5 horses. And in this park, I have 5 horses and 3 baby horses. What do you call them? Fawns? No, that's something else. Foals. 3 foals. And 5 adults. And they're still really happy with the size because I think I gave them about 2,000 square meters or a bit more. Even though it doesn't look like it, it looks pretty small, but they have a lot of space there to run around and do their thing. Here, I'm just adding some foliage. That's one thing I'll always tell people. If you're not sure about your fencing, just add foliage. Foliage kind of fixes a lot of things. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can just add foliage and it kind of fixes most things. Here, I'm trying to figure out, do I make it, more of a desert or sand? I went with sand. I think at the end, I edit some stuff, like I give them a bit more grass and so on. And here, I'm just adding some privacy. I believe that is very important for making any type of habitat. You should have a private area for your animals. With this game, animals do get stressed out quite easily. Many animals do get stressed out, in fact, and their welfare goes down. So if you're especially playing on franchise mode, you should always make sure that your animals have somewhere behind that they can go to that guests have no access to and they can't see through. So if you're using elevated pathways, that's very difficult. But if you're using ground pathways that are at the same level as the habitat, you can always sink a different section. Or you can use concrete walls or rocks to make the animals, or just bushes as I did with this one, or just use bushes to make sure that the animals have a safe space to go to. That could also be their shelter. But I know many people in this community don't like making shelters or making big ones at that, and they like to hang more natural with the exhibits, and they just don't really add shelters to them. In that case, your go-to friend are rocks and bushes, but they need to be high enough that the guests can't see the animals. So when there's discomfort with the animals, they can just go to their little hiding spot. Here is just a pool. This is a very easy way to make a pool, by the way, so all of you can do this. You just have to use the copy paste tool a lot. Yeah, and that's all you need to do. I need to sink the ground very specifically. I'm just making this pool so that they can drink water out of it, but to be honest, you can blow this up, make it really big, and use it for an aquatic animal or a crocodile or a tiger, bear, whatever that likes to swim. I know that horses don't exactly want to swim. At least that's what I know about Przewalski's horses and any horse at all. I mean, they can do it, but it's not like they go for a swim to have fun. So I'm just making them a small drinking pool. And they have used it in the game, so I'm very happy about it. You just have to be careful with the terraforming, but other than that, it's fine. Now, one more thing I want to say about the game, because we're getting very close to the cinematics. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy the cinematics, is the fact that with this pack, I just need to say to all of you that if you're considering getting the game and you were not sure for months, now is the time. You're not going to regret getting this game. It's going to be an absolute blast. I promise you that. The CMAs are my favorite additions to this game. So are the leopards because they look so realistic. But the CMA, they're just so fun to just watch. They're just, I feel like I'm in a real life suit, to be honest, when I'm watching the CMA. So it's definitely recommend this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. And I already have the videos planned out. So I'm just going to play a guessing game with you guys. What do you think is going to be the next build video? And I can just tell you it's not going to be the CMA so that I don't mislead you, but it's something else. So here's the cinematics. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know in the comments down below and let me know what you think of all of the videos that I've been making lately. And if you're okay with 2-3 videos a week, because I'm exhausted usually if I do 5. Here's the fall coming, and I'm going to exit now. Bye for now. Take care.